He was horrified to discover that the hotel was shrinking bit by bit every night. To test his theory, he tied a rope tightly between two walls. By the next morning, the once taut rope had gone slack. The length of the rope hadn't changed, which could only mean the distance between the walls was closing in. Immediately, he shared this grim news with all the chefs. Even more terrifying was the fact that the hotel had no exit. The chefs and guests had lived there for over a decade without ever stepping outside. If the hotel kept shrinking, they would eventually be crushed to death. He expected panic, but strangely, no one else seemed to care, as if their lives weren't at stake. The chefs even banded together and threw him out of the kitchen. Furious, Nick confronted the head chef and demanded to quit. But the head chef's reaction stunned him. He dropped to his knees and begged Nick not to leave. Nick couldn't understand why, yet no matter how much he wanted out, he couldn't bring himself to walk away from an elderly man with gray hair pleading before him. But the real strangeness was only beginning. That day, Nick tried to go home only to find that the exit had vanished. The staircase he had used just yesterday was now a solid wall, its aged appearance suggesting it had been there far longer than overnight. As he stood there, baffled, the old pipes suddenly rattled with a metallic clanging. Then the walls began to tremble. Nick pressed his ear against the surface and heard a deep, rhythmic pounding, like a heartbeat. Even the janitor stood frozen in shock. The next second, the hallway lights flickered wildly. Then, one by one, small doors began to open along the base of the walls.